Good day everyone, this is Patrick from EasyFX Code Trading System, and it is Saturday the 23rd of May 2020, and this is the weekly analysis for Euro, Cable and the Aussie dollar for the 4th week of May next week. And as you can see across all the three major pairs, they're still trading in a range, and all of them actually moved up in 200 pips at the start of the week, and then retraced about half of that towards the end of the week. And let's take a look with Euro to begin with. And as expected, there was support from the previous swing lows just below 108. A strong move up on the Monday through the monthly pivot as well as the daily 55 EMA, and continued to hit the 110 level, which we had also identified as the resistance zone. Pull back towards the second half of the week, right back to the intermediate resistance, now turned support, right at the daily 55 and the monthly pivot again. So just around the 109 level, 109 level. So for this coming week, it won't be surprising if it continues to consolidate as it goes into the last week of the month. So it may need a significant push to either break out through 110, but then there's a significant resistance at the 50% fib level, and if it does fall below the 108, then there will be support just below from the 107 level. So this range movement may continue into next week as well. Let's take a look at the weekly time frame, and initially that could be a move up, perhaps retest 110 before pull back again. And let's see the daily time frame, and there isn't much news this coming week for the Eurozone, with only the CPI flash estimate coming up on Friday at the end of the week. So nothing of note there. Let's take a look at the cable, and the pound sterling also found support right from the 138 fib on the short-term reversal, and rebounded to hit the 50% fib level on the bigger time frame. I think we can remove this fib on the short term, and then pull back again, back down below the weekly pivot, and it could fall further to retest the 38 fib resistance zone, support zone, and it could even weaken further to retest the 120 level here. Let's take a look at the weekly time frame, and there could be some bullish move at the start of the week before a continuation move down, but we'll see whether it's able to break down towards the 120 level. Let's go back to the daily time frame. We could also move this fib down to the lower swing high, and 50% fib at 120.29 area. That could be a possible target, and 120 is definitely going to be a strong support level. So last week the UK employment report, CPI, retail sales were all bad, so it could be a further continuation on the bearish side. This week there isn't any major news, and Monday is also a holiday as well as in the US, so there could be very low liquidity at the start of the week. So the resistance zone is still holding up intact at the 123 level, and this is going to be still a very tight range of either 200 pips or maybe down to 300 pips down to the 120 level. All right, so let's move on to the Aussie dollar. And same as the other major pairs, it managed to find support and rebounded at the start of the week for right from the daily 55 EMA. It did push through the double top resistance zone and spike through that before pulling back down to almost hit the 0.65 level again. So this could still be an intermediate resistance zone. Wasn't able to reach the daily 200 because it just hit the weekly R2 pivot instead. So this could also be moving in a slightly bullish channel. We'll see if this will start to form and whether this level is going to be continue to be support at the daily 55 as well as the 78.6 retracement level. And yes, this is still within a tight 200 pip range. And likewise, next week there isn't, since it's the last week of the month, there isn't any major news except only just the private capital expenditure fear. So a lot will depend on some of the major geopolitical issues, as with the US and China trade talks, which now could turn more political with the Hong Kong issue. So that could impact the Aussie dollar, and as well as the COVID-19 pandemic, and whether the containment and is seeing its benefits. All right, and most of the nations are slowly easing their lockdowns and quarantines. So we'll see whether there's progress also in the vaccine testing in their trials. So meanwhile, just have to stick to the range trading, and unfortunately not too much excitement and any major breakouts for now. Alright, so do stay safe and check out my other videos for spot gold and dollar yen, and have a good trading week. Cheers then.